Hey, beautiful, I'm so glad you're here today. Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever been with a man and wondered, is this just physical for him? Or is he actually in love with me? Because here's the truth. When a man is truly in love with you, it doesn't just show up in his words or in the way he texts you goodnight. It shows up in the most vulnerable space of all, the bedroom. And no, I'm not just talking about the act itself. I'm talking about the way he touches you, the way he holds you, the way he looks at you like you're the only woman in the world. Because while anyone can be good in bed, not everyone makes love with their heart. And when a man feels deeply connected to you, when he's emotionally invested, he expresses it with a whole new kind of intimacy. You see, love doesn't rush. Love slows down. Love listens. Love stays. And most of all, love doesn't have anything to prove. It just wants to be present. So if you've ever wondered whether what you're experiencing in bed is just chemistry or something deeper, this is going to give you clarity like you've never had before. Today, we're going to unpack the 7 things men only do in bed when they are deeply in love. Not when they're just infatuated, not when they're trying to impress you, but when they're all in. Because if you know what to look for, you'll never again have to second guess how he really feels. And once you understand these signs, you'll start holding out for the kind of connection that doesn't just excite your body, but feeds your soul. Let's dive in. When a man is deeply in love, something changes in the way he approaches intimacy. It's not rushed. It's not goal-oriented. It's not about getting somewhere fast. Instead, everything slows down. And that slowness, it's not laziness, it's reverence. It's about the moment. It's about you. He's no longer thinking about just pleasure. He's thinking about presence, about connection, about the fact that he finally gets to be close to someone he truly adores. And he doesn't want to miss a single second of it. He slows down because he's not trying to impress you with performance. He's trying to show you how much he values you. And in a world where we're always rushing, always multitasking, always looking for the next thrill, there's something breathtaking about a man who simply wants to stay in the moment with you. Slowing down is how he tells you without words, you're not a means to an end. You're the experience I want to savor. He's not rushing toward the finish line. He's cherishing the journey. He wants to feel your breath, your skin, your heartbeat. He wants to take his time tracing the lines of your body, not just because he's attracted to you, but because it's you, because every part of you feels sacred to him. You'll notice it in how he kisses you. It's not hurried or routine. It's intentional. He lingers, he explores. He lets silence stretch between kisses because the silence itself feels intimate. You'll feel it in the way he touches you gently, confidently, with care. Not because he's unsure, but because he's tuned in. He's listening, not just with his ears, but with his hands, his eyes, his energy. And he'll move with you, not on top of you or ahead of you. He responds, he adapts, he slows down because he wants to make sure you're right there with him, feeling it all. A man who's deeply in love isn't performing. He's not trying to reenact something he saw in a movie. He's present in real time with real emotion. And that presence creates a completely different experience. You don't feel like a spectator. You don't feel like a participant. You feel chosen, valued, seen, because he's giving you the one thing we all crave when we strip everything else away, his full attention. That's what slowing down is. It's attention, it's care. It's a form of emotional safety that says, I'm not here just for pleasure, I'm here for you. When you experience that, you'll realize the difference between chemistry and connection. And you'll never again settle for someone who only knows how to touch your body, but doesn't know how to hold your heart. Because when a man is deeply in love, he doesn't need to rush. He wants to stay in that moment with you. He wants to get lost in it. And most of all, he never wants it to end. He keeps eye contact, even when it's vulnerable. There's something incredibly intimate about eye contact, especially during moments when we're most exposed, most vulnerable, most real. When a man is deeply in love with you, he doesn't shy away from that vulnerability. In fact, he leans into it. He wants to look into your eyes, not just to connect, but to be seen and to see you completely. Eye contact during intimacy is not just about seduction. It's about surrender. When a man holds your gaze in the middle of a moment that strips away all walls, all ego, all roles, it means he's not hiding. He's not guarded. He's not trying to mask anything or play it cool. He's allowing you to see the truth of who he is. And in return, he's showing you that he sees you, not just your body, but your essence. Now, this can be confronting for both of you because eye contact is one of the fastest ways to feel completely exposed. It's like shining a light into the most private corners of your soul and saying, here I am, no armor, no mask. That's why it's so rare. That's why so many people look away. But a man who is deeply in love with you, he'll hold that gaze, not to dominate or intimidate, but to connect, to feel you, to reassure you that he's right there with you, moment for moment, breath for breath. You'll notice the difference instantly. Because this kind of eye contact feels different. It's soft, it's steady, it doesn't flinch. It tells you that you're safe. It tells you he's not distracted. It tells you he's fully present, not just physically, but emotionally. He's with you, not just experiencing pleasure. That gaze becomes a tether, a grounding force, a silent conversation that says things words never could. And what makes this kind of eye contact so powerful is that it builds emotional intimacy in real time. It deepens the trust. It invites you to be more open, more relaxed, more yourself. Because when someone looks at you that way, with love, with admiration, with focus, it makes you feel beautiful, not just in how you look, but in who you are. When a man looks into your eyes during intimacy and doesn't look away, it's his way of saying, I want all of you, not just your body, but your heart, your mind, your soul. And that kind of love, that kind of attention, it's unforgettable. It rewires how you see love. It redefines what connection means. So the next time you're in that moment with someone, pay attention to his eyes. Are they looking at you or just through you? Are they focused or flickering away? Because when a man is truly in love, he doesn't avoid eye contact. He embraces it, even when it's scary, even when it makes him feel vulnerable, especially then. That's when you'll know this is more than just a moment. This is love, looking right at you. He cares about how you feel, not just if you finish. When a man is truly in love, he shifts from being outcome focused to emotionally attuned. It's no longer just about whether you climax or whether the experience reaches some physical peak. It becomes about how you feel, not just in your body, but in your heart. He's not counting wins. He's reading your energy. He's asking, even if not out loud, are you okay? Are you connected? Are you safe? Are you seen? It's easy for someone to get caught up in performance or the pursuit of physical validation. That's often what happens when intimacy is purely about ego. But when love is involved, something softer takes the lead. A man who is deeply connected to you wants to know that you're enjoying the experience emotionally, not just physically, that you feel adored, respected, and understood. He's not just touching your body, he's tending to your emotional space. You'll feel it in the way he checks in with you. Sometimes it's in his words, is this okay? Or what do you need right now? And sometimes it's just in how he reads your cues. He's aware of your breathing, your tension, your reactions. He's not rushing through it like a routine. He's present, listening without needing you to say anything. That attentiveness, that's love showing up in the subtlest, most powerful way. It also means he's not measuring the experience by whether or not you reached a certain point. Sure, he wants you to feel pleasure, but not because it validates him. He wants it because it reflects how you're doing. He doesn't need a scoreboard, he needs a connection. He's not in it for praise or approval. He's in it to give, to nurture, to express something deeper than desire. He wants to walk away from that moment knowing you felt cherished, not just satisfied. And even when things don't go perfectly, because let's be real, sometimes they don't, he doesn't make it awkward. He doesn't take it personally. He doesn't turn cold or distant because his concern isn't just about what happened physically, it's about what you shared. He cares more about whether you felt held, valued, and emotionally full. That to him is the success. A man who loves you doesn't just want to make your body react. He wants to make your soul feel calm, safe, and wanted. He's attuned to your experience. He honors it. He makes room for your voice, your needs, your pace. And in doing that, he creates a kind of intimacy that lasts far beyond the bedroom. When a man is this emotionally present, sex becomes more than sex. It becomes a form of communication, a love language, a sanctuary. And once you felt that, really felt it, you realize just how different it is from anything that came before. You're not being touched. You're being cared for. You're not being taken. You're being chosen. And that difference, it changes everything. He's affectionate before and after. When a man is deeply in love, intimacy doesn't begin when the clothes come off, and it doesn't end when it's over. It's bookended by care, by affection. And that's one of the clearest signs that this isn't just about sex for him. It's about connection. It's about you. Before anything physical even happens, he sets the tone. He might hold you close, kiss your forehead, run his fingers through your hair, or simply pull you into his chest and breathe you in. These moments aren't calculated, they're instinctive, because his body is drawn to you, not just by desire, but by comfort, by love, by that feeling of this is my person. He creates a warm, safe space before anything begins, because he wants you to feel seen and emotionally connected before it ever becomes physical. And after, that's where you really feel the difference. Because when it's not love, the moment ends, and so does the tenderness. There's a sudden shift, a withdrawal. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's not. But when love is present, there's no abrupt emotional exit. He stays, he wraps himself around you, he lingers, he holds your hand, kisses your shoulder, whispers something sweet. He's still with you, not drifting off, not checking out, not reaching for the phone or turning his back. He remains present because he knows intimacy isn't a transaction. It's a shared emotional experience. You'll feel that care in how he slows things down, how he nurtures the moment. He's not trying to get to the end. He's trying to stay in the connection. And the tenderness afterward, it's real. It says this wasn't just a high. It meant something to me. Sometimes he won't say anything at all, but the way he touches your arm, the way he pulls you closer, the way he breathes you in, like he's trying to memorize your scent. That's what love looks like in silence. These in-between moments, the before and after, are where emotional safety lives. And they matter more than people realize, because it's in those small, quiet spaces that your nervous system relaxes, that your heart opens a little more, that your trust deepens. And a man who loves you knows this. Even if not consciously, his body just knows to stay close. His instinct is to nurture, not just to pursue. So many women have been taught to only measure love by what happens during sex. But real love? It shows up before and it stays after. It's in the anticipation. It's in the recovery. It's in the way he treats you when no one's watching, when no one's keeping score. And if a man is still kissing you, holding you, comforting you in those quiet, unguarded moments, it means you're not just someone he desires, you're someone he cherishes. And that kind of love, it's the kind that makes you feel safe to fall again and again. He laughs with you, not at you. One of the most underrated forms of intimacy is laughter. And when a man is deeply in love, laughter becomes something sacred. It's not a weapon. It's not a tool for teasing or diminishing. It's a way to connect. He doesn't use humor to create distance. He uses it to bring you closer. And that difference matters more than most people realize. A man who truly loves you will never make you the punchline of a joke meant to impress someone else. He doesn't roll his eyes at your quirks or mock you when you're vulnerable. Instead, he embraces those little things about you. The way you mispronounce words, the weird dance you do when you're excited, the silly habits you think you have to hide. He laughs with you, not at you. Because to him, those aren't flaws, they're intimacy points. They're the little private joys that make you, you. And when you laugh together, when you both just let go and exist in that moment of shared joy, it becomes more than comedy, it becomes connection. It's an inside joke, a private world where only the two of you exist. A man in love, values those moments. He craves them because he's not looking for someone to entertain him. He's looking for someone he can be real with, someone who sees the goofy side, the weird side, the unfiltered side, and loves it all. But here's the key. When things get tough, when you mess up, when you're insecure or emotional, he doesn't use humor to deflect or shame. He uses tenderness. He holds space. He might lighten the moment if it helps, but not in a way that dismisses you, not in a way that says you're being too much. Instead, he says, let's feel this, and if we can, let's find our way back to joy together. That's what laughter in love looks like. There's also something deeply attractive about a man who can laugh at himself without defensiveness. When he loves you, he doesn't need to be perfect. He doesn't take himself so seriously. He can admit when he's being ridiculous. He can laugh at his mistakes. And because he can be humble, it invites you to do the same. It creates a dynamic that's honest, light, and safe. You don't have to pretend to be flawless, and neither does he. That's where freedom lives, in the laughter between two people who feel safe being themselves. So if a man laughs with you, really laughs, the kind that makes his eyes squint and his shoulders shake, and never turns your vulnerability into a punchline, you're seeing love in action. He's showing you that your joy is his joy, that your silliness isn't something to tolerate, it's something to treasure, and that the two of you can weather even the serious parts of life because you've got this shared superpower, the ability to find light together, even in the dark. That's not just laughter, that's love disguised as joy. He asks questions and listens to the answers. When a man is truly in love, he doesn't just want to be around you, he wants to know you. Not just your favorite song or the way you take your coffee, but what makes you feel alive, what scares you, what shaped you into the woman you are today. He doesn't settle for surface level conversation because what he's craving isn't just contact, it's connection. That's why he asks questions, real ones, thoughtful ones. He doesn't ask just to fill silence, and he's not checking off boxes. He's leaning in because your mind, your heart, your world genuinely interest him. Whether it's how your day went or why a particular moment from your childhood still affects you, he wants to understand. Not because he's trying to fix you, not because he's trying to prove anything, but because when he loves you, your experiences become part of his world too. He carries your stories with him. He makes room for your truth. But what really sets him apart is how he listens. Not the passive kind of listening where someone nods while waiting to talk, but the kind of listening that makes you feel like the only person in the room. He's present, he's focused, he's not interrupting, he's not checking his phone, and he's not rushing you to the point. He lets you take your time. He absorbs your words, your tone, the little pauses between your thoughts, because to him, every part of what you say matter. And even more important, he remembers. He circles back to things you mentioned in passing weeks ago. He notices the names of people you care about. He knows what stresses you out at work, and he checks in on those things, not because he has to, but because he wants to. That kind of listening isn't common. It's not just polite, it's intimate. It makes you feel valued, heard, seen. Sometimes he asks questions that don't have clear answers, like what do you dream about, or what's something you've never told anyone before? And those questions aren't there to pry, they're there to open space, to invite you to take off the mask, because when a man is deeply in love, he's not afraid of depth, he's not scared of your complexity, he's drawn to it. And when you respond, whether with something light or something vulnerable, he holds that space for you without judgment. That's where emotional intimacy starts to bloom, in those quiet, curious moments where one person says, "Tell me more," and actually means it. So if a man asks you questions, not just at the beginning, but over time, and truly listens to your answers, it's not just sweet. It's a sign of something much deeper. It means he's not just falling in love with the idea of you. He's falling in love with who you actually are. And that is the foundation of a love that lasts. He's not afraid to be soft. When a man is deeply in love, one of the most beautiful things that begins to emerge is his softness. Not weakness, not passivity, but real, vulnerable softness, the kind that takes courage, the kind that only shows up when he feels emotionally safe. When a man allows himself to be soft with you, it's because he trusts you not just with his body, but with his heart. And that is no small thing. In a world that often tells men to be stoic, strong, impenetrable, there's something deeply intimate about a man who lets down his guard, who shows you his real feelings, who cries in front of you when he's overwhelmed, or tells you when he's scared, or admits when he doesn't have it all figured out. That's not weakness, it's love in its rawest form. It means you're not just a partner to him, you're a safe place. He might not use 1,000 poetic words, but you'll feel it when he leans his head on your shoulder after a long day, when he wraps his arms around you and exhales in a way that says, "Here, with you, I can breathe." He's not performing, he's not posturing, he's just being. And that softness, it's sacred. It tells you that you're not just with someone who wants to impress you, you're with someone who wants to connect with you. A man in love doesn't just show his power through grand gestures, he shows it through tenderness. In the way he holds you like he never wants to let go, in the way he lets his voice soften when he says your name, in the way he kisses your forehead like he's saying, "I've got you," without needing to speak a word. That kind of softness doesn't just say he loves you, it says he feels safe enough to love you completely. And here's what most people don't realize. Softness is a form of strength. It takes more bravery for a man to say, "I need you," than to pretend he doesn't feel anything. It takes more strength to open up than it does to shut down. So when he shows you his worries, his doubts, his dreams, don't brush it off. That's not him being dramatic. That's him letting you into the inner world most people never see. And when he allows that softness in the bedroom, when he slows down, makes eye contact, holds your hand, whispers how much he loves you, it means he's not just trying to impress you physically, he's trying to merge with you emotionally. That softness becomes a language, one that says, "You matter to me more than any performance. I'm here to love you, not prove something." So if you see a man's softness, honor it, because that softness is where real intimacy begins. It's where walls fall away, where masks are dropped, and where love becomes not just something you say, but something you live. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, how do I really know if this man is making love to my body or truly making love to my heart? Look closer at the little things. It's not always about the fireworks or the passion you see in movies. Sometimes it's about the quiet moments, the way he looks at you, the way he stays close, the way he listens, even in the silence between breaths. Love doesn't always scream, it often whispers. When a man is deeply in love, intimacy becomes a language all its own. His body speaks through patience, his heart shows up through affection, presence, laughter, and a deep desire to connect, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and soulfully. These are the signs, these are the clues. And once you've experienced that kind of depth, that kind of tenderness, you realize that anything less simply doesn't feel the same. And here's the most beautiful part. When you love yourself deeply, you start to attract men who love with the same intensity. You begin to raise your standard, not based on what you've had before, but on what you now know is possible. So don't settle for someone who just shows up in your bed. Wait for the man who shows up with his heart. If you felt seen by this message, if even one part of this reminded you of something you felt, or maybe something you're still searching for, then I invite you to share this with someone who needs it. And if you want more real conversations about love, connection, and finding the kind of relationship that feeds your soul, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you deserve a love that's not just passionate, but profoundly present. You deserve the kind of man who loves you deeply in every moment and in every way. I'll see you in the next one.